they're not just firing rockets. Obviously, we know it Israel, but
Yeah.
all the moderate Muslim nations, Iran is going after them and wanting to hit them. So this is exactly what we were talking about before.
There is a peace and security coming, brokered by the beast. It's about the temple. Radical Islam has to be dealt with.
Welcome back, everybody. We're the Bible Prophecy Guys. I'm Kyle Chahanovich with Michael and PJ Hanley. And today we're going to be looking at war, what's happening in Iran and other nations around. So as we're opening up here, PJ, do you want to bring us into talking about war?
Yeah, well, we had talked about this Iranian revolution before, and I think we made some predictions that it would actually happen, and that our Trump would get involved, and that Israel would get involved, and a little late for some of us. The way we were thinking, we were sad to see so many people killed.
Yeah.
Innocent people, truly innocent people who haven't done anything other than want to be free. And but either way, we're happy that we know there were a lot of complications and things they had to deal with that we don't. But however you slice it, there's a major shift going on right now in the Middle East and the world, because everything that happens in the Middle East is about the world.
Yeah.
It's about Israel and it's about the world. And we can see that Israel is the focus of world attention since they came back into the land.
Yes.
And it's getting more so that these days are going to end. This age is going to end with Israel at the center. And people are just going to have to deal with it. I mean, right now, there's so much fussing over it, and people think it's just going to go away, and Israel's going to go away, and everybody's going to go away. But no, they're going to be seeing it the rest of their lives. So they're really going to have to make a choice and decide what they stand for.
Yep.
But I think it's probably the beginning of the takedown of radical Islam that we had talked about and said that really needs to happen, because there can't be any even temporary or fake peace without Islam, being defeated. Radical Islam, that is. The ones the jihadis.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I don't trust I don't trust Islam at all, but in any way, but at least the others are more moderate and are not inclined to stab you in the back. But
the Sunnis, you mean?
The Sunnis, yeah. Well, not necessarily. More moderates like Saudi Arabia, and probably the most moderate is the Emirates, who have behaved the best, I think, in this whole thing. But anyway, it's just fascinating, and maybe we can chat about that, to see all these people now are having to try to you stand up and say, I'm in, because it's very unpopular now to be out. Because they're making a statement.
That's right.
By being out. And it's very curious to me that Egypt hasn't said anything or been involved at all. It's probably Jordan has our bases, and our troops, our planes are going from there, but nothing at all from Egypt. So I think we will probably discuss where this is going, and that it's going to come back to Israel. Now we have Syria jumping in. So we've got Lebanon, Syria. Okay. Next is Jordan. When this is over, I think you're going to see some kind of collapse there, because this is like an earthquake shaking the whole Muslim world.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And alliances are going to be cracked and broken and changed. And of course, Erdogan is jumping up and down in his chair, wanting to get involved in this, but he can't. He can't get involved because he's hamstrung, as they say. He can't get involved yet. It's just not his time.
Although amidst Turkey.
I saw it in Turkey, but I think that was straight.
It probably was.
I don't think that they intended to hit Turkey, but because there'd be more than one, most likely, if they were firing at Turkey. But you got Iraq there, out of control, so it likely could have come from there. So. So that's my introduction.
That's the introduction. Yeah. Well, it's very interesting. I find it, the whole thing, obviously, as this all got set off, they're not just firing rockets. Obviously, we know it Israel, and we know the drones and all of that as well. But
Yeah.
all the moderate Muslim nations, or the ones that have U.S. bases or U.S. hotels, Iran is going after them and wanting to
Right.
hit them. So this is exactly what we were talking about before, radical Islam and what we call moderate Islam. But those are the ones Iran is hitting are the ones that are playing ball with the West, so to speak, or willing
Yeah.
to come into the Abrahamic Accords. So God is obviously really putting this up at the forefront to deal with radical Islam and deal with the IRGC. And out of this, yeah, it will bring, I believe, more of those Muslim nations even deeper into those accords and wanting peace, and all of that. So I know Mike's jumping at the bit here. Go ahead, Mike.
Go for it, Mike.
Well, I got a lot of thoughts. First of all, Trump bringing all that hardware into the Middle East.
Yeah.
Trump did the same. He ran the same playbook again. And you know what? Where he says all these things, he tries to create confusion. But right here, it's right in your face. But don't look at that. Where we'll say this and then, but bang, it's right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he followed through, and I do think the only things we can say that Trump, the mistakes he's made. He made one big mistake. And you know what, though? All in all, I think he's done a really great job. There's one thing about telling them to go out on the streets, because he had the attack planned and had to pull it back. So he was a little, his heart, I think, was for the people, to save the people.
Yeah.
But he got ahead of himself a little bit
premature.
there. Right? Got ahead of his skis, as they say. And then he had to be informed this isn't going to topple them. It's only going to get more of them killed over time so he pulled back and then brought in the absolute unbelievable force that we see now.
That's right.
So that was one thing. But all in all, he has made a great move. And I have to give him credit for, I'm just saying this now because we ripped him a little bit. So now I'm going to give him his credit, right? That he cares about the people. And he is getting hit by some of his own coalition. Some of the own people used to support him are now hitting him and blasting him. And he's willing to take it to do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's really, says something about him.
Yes.
The Board of Peace thing, though, I think is where this is all going. I think Trump really does believe in the bottom of his heart, now misguided, that he can bring peace to the Middle East. He believes it. And Bibi believes it. Yeah. They believe that they can truly bring full peace. And we all know that there is a peace and security coming, brokered by the beast. Yes. And so I do think that this is all part of it. Right. But radical Islam has to be dealt with. But what is that really all about? It's about the temple. Mm-hmm. It's about the temple. The temple being built. Radical Islam, Shiite Islam has to be dealt with. Now, there's tons of radicals that are Sunnis as well, right? But
like Hamas.
But what you're seeing right now is a Shiite-Sunni war happening now, kind of as well, because they hate each other too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's a part of this whole thing. A lot of the Sunnis can't stand Iran because they are Shia, they are the 12ers, the 12th Imam. They think all that they're heretics. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that is playing into this. Now that just brings me to Israel. All right. Which is a humongous part of this, because if anyone's like, well, what prophecy is being fulfilled? We see Psalm 83, we see other things. The most important prophecy that is direct and clear, that cannot be misconstrued for any other time in history, is when Ezekiel's dry bones. Mm-hmm. Ezekiel's dry bones, they're dead and gone. We're spent. How can they live? Tell them to live. And they start coming back together, right? And then they stand and they become an exceedingly great army. See, Israel coming, in my generation, Israel has come back. Right? When I was young, I knew Israel was back. Dad always taught me Israel was back, fulfill scripture. But they were a good army, but a regional army. Yeah. What has now happened is this exceedingly great army of it, because the United States, SecDef, released a statement saying the two most powerful air forces in the world, meaning a state with less people than New York City. Yes. Is the second most powerful air force in the world. And guess what? In this world, Air Force is the most important thing. Oh, yeah. Okay? So
still.
That is an incredible statement. And I think that one there's no other time where Israel was completely dead and gone and from bones to, and then of course Ezekiel's told I will bring them back from where they've been scattered. I'll put them in one people and they'll become an exceedingly great army. Israel has to become an exceedingly great army for the temple to be built. I think that's part of it because the only way the temple will be built is Israel comes from a place of strength. They're not going to be weak and beaten down and all of that and then get what the people want. The people, the voters, and the younger generation is only going to get what they want through strength, through a deal where they're coming from a place of strength. I believe that's the only way that's going to happen. All right. Because even the moderate Sunnis do not want the temple to be built. They all still hate that. So the only way they would ever capitulate there is they fear Israel. They fear them. They have to be feared for that to ever happen. And that is a major thing that is a direct, there's no other time in history. Some people can say Psalm 83, well, this is, no. Ezekiel's prophecy is so specific. There's nothing else that could ever fit it throughout history.
That's right.
To what we're seeing right now. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, well, and how it says over and over again in all those prophecies in Ezekiel, the nations and the nations round about, and even leading into the Gog, Magog, it says, then they will know that I am the Lord. That through all of this. And then really quick, you were talking about the Israeli Air Force. I'll give a plug here. It's a documentary that came out, I think, 2015. It's called Above and Beyond. It is a documentary that goes through and it does the history of the founding of the Israeli Air Force. And it is absolutely phenomenal. And what we're seeing is that prophecy fulfilled. Obviously, it's becoming an exceedingly great army. And what it was the Israeli Air Force had two planes in the beginning. And when Egypt was coming up to destroy them and wipe them in 1948 as Britain left, these two planes flew over and they were hodgepodge put together. What it was actually American Israelis who fought in World War II. And they illegally took the planes, salvage planes from America, flew them into communist countries, flew them into Europe, got them into Israel, got them up in the air. And the Egyptian army thought, two planes, they must have an entire force. We're done for. And the Egyptian army was put to flight. But now, just the other day, when all this broke out, they had, 500 missions that were run in a span of a couple hours just from the skies.
200 fighter jets from
That's right.
Israel.
Yes, absolutely. So it is amazing to see these prophecies fulfilled and the might that God has put behind, we know, Israel and the mighty army and all of that. So it's awesome. One more point, you were talking about it coming and the Abrahamic Accords. Did either of you get to watch Tucker Carlson with Mike Huckabee?
Yeah.
And everything was great. Mike Huckabee was good in most of the areas and true, obviously, evangelical believers, Zionists supporting Israel. Yeah. But the way he ended the interview was so interesting to me. He got to the end of the interview and what's he say to Tucker Carlson? The last thing is about UAE and the Abrahamic house of faith and how he thinks it is so wonderful and they're so progressive and that whole push of this is where we're going and then obviously pushing towards this is what's going to come in Israel. This is on the Temple Mount, or we'll say in Israel, that embracing of interfaith, Muslim, Jew, Christian, all coming together, peace. So this is where these wars are heading. So go ahead.
You guys know that there was this morning or last night there was a missile shot down right over the rock.
Yes, there was.
There was one smoldering the other day there was one smoldering that hit just outside Alaska Mosque between the scaffolding and the wall, and they came and they diffused it because they didn't want it to explode. That was about 3 days ago.
You wonder, did they send that on purpose? Are they just so off base that they can't hit anything? But they have been able to consistently hit this
all
building.
Though. They have some that are guided, some that are not guided. All different makeshift systems.
Yeah, but to lob them into Jerusalem, into that area.
The Lord can also just redirect if he wants.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe they're trying to stir up a war in Islam to get, their forces, their point of view heard. Or there's a lot of revenge and vengeance there in their hearts.
There's a couple.
IRGC.
Yeah, there's a couple things on that. The 12th Imam theology that Khomeini and his IRGC have is that through world war, through this last great war in the Middle East, the imam, the 12th imam, will step forward. That's what they believe. They want to. They can
So
bring
that's
it.
what they're trying to do.
They can bring it about. That is and that is the thing that Prince Salman and the UAE, they hate that whole belief.
Right.
Yes.
So that is part of this, so that but I want to say a couple things. One thing about the Temple Mount I think is really important. Couple of recent things I've seen from Israelis, from religious Israelis, making the point that the Dome of the Rock does not need to go for the temple to be built. And I never really thought about that, but they're saying there's so much more room up here, and they're showing how much space there is on top of the Temple Mount, that the entire temple could be there and not have to move any of it. Now, the issue is where the holy place is, which I believe they knew exactly where it was, and that's where the dome was put.
That's where the rock.
So, but anyway, I thought that was interesting because they're already seeding this international city, Abrahamic faith. We can kind of have.
Who did this? Who said this?
This was the guys that the two rabbis that are with
Temple Institute,
Israel guys.
Oh, okay.
And
Jeremy,
and also one
okay.
who's a reporter who's not one of them, but I've watched him for a while. He was reporting on the Red Heifers, but he's a religious Jew. He was saying that as well.
Yeah.
But what they're stating is kind of this whole, we can all and of course we have Revelation chapter 11, leave the outer court for the Gentiles. There is this picture that there's going to be this kind of
interfaith,
Abrahamic, we're all going to be here and use it, and kumbaya is going to happen.
It has to be the holy place.
Yeah,
that's not it.
And that would make sense that the beast would bring that deal where they all can be along and all can get along.
Yeah.
But again, that can only happen through Israel, through a place of strength and fear, where they would say, okay, you know what? We get it. We're not going to mess with you anymore.
Well, yeah. I think it's clear now at this point to anyone that's got their eyes open that Israel is in a position of strength.
Yes.
And will continue that way. And all the way we used to think about Israel coming from weakness, almost begging for things. It's going to flip around. It's going to be not about whether they can build a temple or not. It's going to be about
who's going to stop them.
Are you going to guarantee us peace, and you're not going to invade us anymore? Yes, that's what it's going to be about.
Yes.
But I want to go back to Iran just for a moment, just to clear up some things. The prophecy in Jeremiah 49, of course, a lot of people have been talking about that on the internet and saying, what about that? What's going to happen with Iran and so on? And because of that prophecy, many have thought that Iran can't have this time of freedom, and they can't have an awakening, a Christian awakening, because I think that's what's going on there. The country has shaken off Islam. So how does all this fit? I think there's a very simple answer, because they have to be in this Gog-Magog alliance, because it says Persia is going to be tagging along there with Turkey. We haven't done the show yet, but we believe that Turkey is essentially Gog, Magog. Gog is the leader, obviously, but and look at Erdogan. He's out of step with everybody right now, and it's just proof that he's in the wings waiting for the next round. Okay. And that's when it's going to come, the time of peace and security. But they're going to have to be dealt with. And his alliances in North Africa. So I think the answer is simple. The IRGC will probably survive in some level. They'll either cut off a little piece of Persia, which is eastern Iran, or Azerbaijan, or they'll come back into Syria or wherever, just like ISIS.
Just like ISIS did.
They're not, it's not a country. They're Persians.
Yes.
But they were a country, so they're what's left of that regime. And I think fairly quickly they will probably take up a position closer to Israel. And so when it says Persia is there, it doesn't necessarily mean that the government of Iran is there. It could very well be simply a bunch of Persians organized under the IRGC.
Well, if you look at a lot of these other times where we have other situations similar, they're not the same, but Look at the Ba'ath Party. Look at the Taliban. They
Right.
go into hiding. They claim a territory.
Right. And
That's what happened with ISIS. Right. And they moved to a totally different area. Those guys. And now one of them's running Syria.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, and of course, the Lord has thrown in Elam and all of that. Elam and Persia are one in modern Iran, but biblically speaking, they are not one. The modern Iran is because of the Persian Empire that became so humongous. They took over a lot of those areas that were not originally Persia. So that, I think that definitely plays in. I think there will be some breaking up. They won't have every single square inch that they have. That is possible. Now. I think that makes a lot of sense. And Elam is where Tehran and all the main population is.
Yes.
Is where Elam is. Yes. But if you look at the overall country of Iran, it's huge, and it's very likely that some of them can go off into the mountains and into some of the other secluded areas, and have a stronghold.
That's possible,
and then really have a kind of a separation. But remember, also Persia, is difficult because a lot of these are Arabs that aren't actually originally Persian. Khomeini and them are actually not even from that area.
Yeah.
Right, which is something that's weird to look at.
Well, either way, he says that I will set my throne in Elam and cause king and princes from there to perish, all in one go. Declares Yahweh. But it will be in the last days that I will return the fortunes of Elam, declares Yahweh. So that last verse says, but in the last days he's going to restore them. So I think that's telling us it's a prophecy that's been kind of occurring over a long period of time. But at the end of it, and we're in the last days.
Yes.
And, to say that about Elam when it's going to happen to a lot of other countries as well, obviously in the millennium, everyone's going to be blessed, right? So it can't be referring just to the millennium. It has to be happening at the end of this age that there's going to be a blessing for Elam. So, I think that's exciting, and they've certainly suffered a lot. Probably, I've never seen any group of people take on a military with no weapons or anything. It's incredible bravery, and they've incredible suffering. I can't imagine the suffering, and yet they're standing up and they're crying out for. I believe they're crying out for God. They're looking for God. They're looking for answers, and they want freedom. And there's going to be a swing, of course, probably toward liberalism and all that. But I think at the same time, there's such a strong church there now, underground, that when that gets a chance to come out, you could see major things happening. If they have freedom of religion, which I believe they will have with the Shah going back. So
there'll be anyway a lot of those Christians that have been in prison or in small groups that have public church, which will make a huge difference.
Oh, of course.
And then there'll be the whole lefty side, throw off all religion.
Yes. Because they've been so controlled for so long, they'll swing to the other side, but perhaps not for too long. Anyway, the point is, it's going to all go from Iran back to the so-called West Bank, which we hate to even say, because why not just say Jordan is the East Bank? It's the same mentality. We don't say East Bank, we say Jordan. So West Bank is Judea and Samaria.
That's right.
But anyway, either way, that's where it's going to go down. That's where the Psalm 83 war is going to be finished, and so something major has to happen in Jordan, and this war will precipitate that. I think the tensions now. There's got to be a lot of Jordanians that are Arabs. There's a lot of them, and they're going to be. They're radicals.
There's a lot of
radicals,
quote unquote Palestinians there.
Right.
They're really.
I tried to avoid that.
I know, but there's a confusion in that because they're all Arabs. The other Jordanians are Arabs. They're just because remember the king there. All right, Abdullah was originally a Saudi.
Yes,
he was put in. Right.
Yes.
And a lot, but there is about 60% of them descend from which were originally Palestinian in the actual sense of Israelis were Palestinian, and the ones who lived in the area called Palestina, right?
Yeah.
Which was named by the Romans, right? And Jews who lived there were called that as well.
Yes,
the Palestinian
up until 1948.
All of that, anybody who lived there was. So it was not a people, it was not an ethnicity. But there are many of them because Jordan was created for them.
Yeah.
Jordan was created for what we would call Palestinian Arabs, and then Israel was for Jews coming in, refugees from the war, and Palestinian Jews.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's why there's so many in there, and that's why it's Abdullah, right?
Abdullah,
I think that, right?
Abdullah,
He's constantly having to fight his own people who want to turn on him and want to attack Israel.
Yeah, and in overnight that could flip and he could be ousted. You don't know what's going to happen there, but I can imagine tensions are pretty high because they're seeing Iran going down is going to have a lot of repercussions.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's going to have those waves from that are going to go out for a while, and they could change a lot of things. Look at Syria saying they're jumping in now. They're not ready to jump in.
No.
We know that's their goal all along, but they're not ready. They don't even have the government together yet. So
Syria is at war with itself.
Yeah, that's at war with
absolutely.
So who's getting involved in the war? Who or what?
Mm-hmm.
But they can bring men right down through there, and Iraq is ready to go. You've got Egypt is the big question mark right now, but they're involved in the Psalm 83. So I expect that when this is over, it'll be Psalm 83 is back on again because Hezbollah is at again.
Yes, they are.
And the Board of Peace is taking a break.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We wonder if it'll ever take.
I think the Board of Peace, though, if you look at it now, Trump was talking about all because the story came out that Prince Salman actually wanted Trump to do this.
Yeah.
Everybody see that story? It was all over. It came out that you didn't see that one?
No, I didn't.
You should follow me. Okay?
I am.
Where he was actually publicly they all have to do the Muslim Brotherhood thing and say, right? But behind the scenes, he was pushing, and so was the UAE, Trump, that none of this stuff is going to happen unless you deal with Khomeini and the IRGC. Yes, you have to deal with them, or we're never going to have any of this stuff. Yeah. And there's a lot of truth in that in one way, because remember, Iran funds, and Trump knew this, the octopus. We've been hearing about the octopus forever, right? And all its tentacles, the Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
Just quickly, for those who don't know, the Iranian regime, the Islamic Iranian regime funded Hamas, Hezbollah, the Iraqi militias, the Yemeni Houthis, Islamic Jihad, all of them were backed and funded by Iran.
Yep.
All right?
Yeah.
And so the point is, all these groups were meant to surround Israel, Psalm 83, and a ring of fire or hatred around them to crush and destroy Israel. Well, the Board of Peace would never work unless they're dealt with, and that's true. We all know that.
Yeah.
So now I can kind of see. Oh wow, right. For that to work, they know that they had to do this. Trump knew it all along.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But some of the other Islamic Sunnis, the moderate ones, they're like Salman is a moderate, although he'll never. They all hate Israel because the Quran hates Israel because the devil hates Israel. Yeah. But they're willing to accept them in the sense that they're scared of him.
Yeah.
Right? They're smarter to the point where they're not such ideologues like Iran is, where they're just going to fight until the death, because right now Solomon is smart enough to realize, wow, even though we have 20-1 amount of people that Israel is, they'd probably whoop us if we got into war with Israel. Oh, yeah. And they're smart enough to understand that. Yeah. Right?
I think they're all scared of Israel.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So because of that, but they have to be dealt with for the Board of Peace for all of this to happen. Mm-hmm. I actually think the Board of Peace after this is going to actually have some teeth and is going to grow.
Eventually.
You look at it because this had to happen first,
right?
For that to be able to work, right? Right. And of course, we know the Board of Peace is going to be a setup for the future things, but it seems like, this is chaos. No, we said in one of our first episodes, many other Bible prophecy
Yeah.
teachers can see it. The only way that the status quo changes is through a major war.
Yeah.
Well, this is all major war for the status quo to change.
But this is a war, a battle in the, this is the Psalm 83 war.
Yeah.
But then it finishes off with Zechariah 12, in my opinion, because the surrounding nations are dealt with.
Yes.
And they all come against central Israel, the heartland, of Israel. That's what Gog, Magog alliance. That's where they come against the mountains of Israel. Why would anyone want to go against the mountains of Israel? Because that's the so-called West Bank.
Yes,
because,
it is.
Because Israel's claiming it, and they know it.
Yeah.
And they want to stop that and take it over.
And even the American position is that they can't do that.
On that. So, they're all together now. Everybody wants on board. I think this is probably the first time, maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably the first time these Arab nations have fought alongside Israel.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Except maybe in the 12 there were, they shut down.
They played a little. This time they're actually like coordinating.
Offense. This is the first time
they're striking Iran.
But you see, enemies can join together and become bedfellows in a time of war, but that doesn't mean this is going to last. Don't think this is going to last.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend for a certain amount of time. Right?
Until the conflict ends, and then boom, it's back to hating each other again.
Yes. Well, when Israel makes the sorry, Kyle, I'll just let this one thing in. There was just a recent thing 2 weeks ago about them taking a step towards more sovereignty over the West Bank, and they were all freaking out over it.
Yeah.
So quickly, we already said it, but if you really put that together with that, what you just said really clicked in my brain, because you have there is powerful governments in the Middle East, but if you think about it right now, Lebanon has no central powerful government. It's chaos there. Warring faction. Syria, no powerful, really direct government. It's warring faction. Iraq has no real powerful central government. It's warring factions.
Right. That's the point. Yes.
And Jordan does have one guy. But they could fall. The people are turning on him.
One guy.
Right? Now, Egypt, Sisi rules.
Sisi rules.
He is strong.
But he leans towards the radicals.
But you think about those countries do not have a powerful centralized authority. You're right. So you could see all these militias kind of just coming out of those countries quite easily. Go ahead, Kyle.
Absolutely. Well, going back to what we were talking about a little bit with Jordan there, just thinking about Psalm 83, and it talks about the sons of Lot, which are Ammon and Moab. And obviously Edom is part of that as well. And that is what we call modern day Jordan, that territory. But the interesting thing, I was thinking of Ezekiel 35, and that attitude of Edom in Ezekiel 35 is, we will take the mountains of Israel, right? We will inhabit them. We will steal from them. This heart cry again that they come against God and they come against Israel and want to, if you want to say, be Esau and take back what was supposedly theirs, even though they obviously, Esau rejected his birthright, came against the Lord, all of those things. But it continues on, and it's really interesting because we know right now on the Temple Mount, the Jordanian Waft is still there. Now, obviously, they don't have the authority that they used to have because the IDF is stepping up more and more. Interesting this year, obviously, during Ramadan, Jews were allowed to go up and continually pray. This is the first time that has ever happened. There were Jews going... monumental. They were going off they had them segmented, but they were going off to the other side, and they said, no, they were prostrating themselves. I saw those videos all the way up the ramps going up, and then they got to the IDF and they said, nope, you can't do that here, go over there. But they let them go over, and then they allowed them to come to the Temple Mount. They worshiped the Lord. They fell down and prayed, as the Muslims were also for Ramadan and all that. So again, these are major shifts in the status quo, as we call it. But in all of that, in those prophecies in Ezekiel, it talks about how Jordan, obviously that territory, they will know that I'm the Lord, but it talks about how he's going to bring desolation upon their mountains. Tying it in bigger than that, obviously Judea and Samaria, it must be in Israel's hands to fulfill these prophecies that are coming. But then bigger than that, it talks about Israel obviously fleeing into the wilderness. and going out into these portions of territory, which we know as modern day Jordan. So obviously there has to be a major
The day
shift.
of the Lord.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the day of the Lord, there has to be a major shift in territories for those prophecies.
Interestingly, as you said that, I was thinking that the Gog Magog war ends with the burial place and all that,
Yes.
and in Jordan,
In Jordan, him and Gog, that's right.
east of the Dead Sea.
Yep.
So Jordan does not appear to exist, at least in the western part of it. It's going to belong to Israel.
Yep. That's right. So
And
that
it did belong to Israel originally. It was given to Israel to the tribe of the 1.5 tribes, or 2.5 tribes, 1.5 tribes, right?
Yeah.
It was
half tribe of
2.5.
Manasseh,
2.5. Yeah.
2.5.
That's right.
Reuben,
half tribe of Manasseh.
Reuben, Issachar, and
half tribe of Manasseh. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So from that,
before we change, one more point. Ben Salman, again, he is the one who has undermined the Waqf multiple times in Jordan and the Jordanian control of it. Because he wants to boost Mecca and Medina as the major places in Islam.
That's right.
He said this.
Yes, they are.
Right? He really is. Obviously, Erdogan, number one to watch. Number two to watch is Ben Salman.
MBS, they call him?
MBS. Yes. Anyway, keep going.
Well, I think the Saudis are probably going to keep the moderate position because they, in the war, in the Ezekiel 38 Magog war, they say, well, if you come up for,
Yes,
right.
They're not part of the war, that war. So
the House of Saud.
So if they're if they get involved in in this war with Israel, right now I think they probably won't, but we'll see. But Yemen would definitely, Yemen would be involved probably, and
they don't have a centralized, powerful government either.
They're Ishmaelites.
They're another one.
They're Ishmaelites, aren't they?
Yes.
So that prophecy fulfilled anyway. So move on. We see Erdogan here, and we see this whole thing setting up, and they're kind of off on the sidelines now. The North African states are not saying anything. They're all connected with Erdogan. So they're getting ready. They'll be ready for the next round once this Psalm 83 war is over. But the Zechariah part, I think that's what we're going to be looking for next, the Zechariah 12 part to be finished. And all of this could be over in a couple of years, or could be even a year and a half or two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's on the roll now. It's not going to stop.
No.
So the Psalm 83 war was on big time, and then it stopped. And we had all this peace, but now it's back on again. So
it didn't really stop.
So
it smoldered for a little bit.
It had a lull, we'll say.
Still having to hit constantly.
Right.
I mean, they hasn't stopped for Israel.
Oh, my point is that this is not going to stop. It's just it's on the roll. The things have moved. Now the ripple effects from the destruction of Iran is going to be huge.
And the Strait of Hormuz.
It's going to be huge.
Yes.
So two big things to watch. Europe now, there's something major going on with Europe and the US, okay? So Europe has broken away in some regard, and we're not sure what's going to, but we know it's going to fulfill prophecy, and Europe has to play a key role in prophecy, and we seem to take a back seat. And right now we have the front seat, and Europe has the back seat, so something big's going on there. That's never happened before. I mean, you see how the position of England is just like, what?
Yes. And the Germans are the one that are backing the U.S. and Israel. The Germans.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big development. So, I'm trying to think of what the second one was. I can't remember. I had a second one.
That's all
But
right.
anyway, it'll take us forward into the biblical prophecies. They're all happening right before our eyes. The problem is that people are looking at the wrong prophecies and the wrong things because they don't get the scenario right. That's the problem.
Yes.
They keep coming up with, is this Psalm 83 or is this Zechariah 12 or is this Ezekiel 38 and right now it shouldn't be that difficult. It's happening.
The two things though that are the most important for someone who is maybe watching this or hearing about prophecy and you don't get all this things we're mentioning. There's two simple major things. It is Israel had to become from the ashes, brought back from all the nations, and then become an exceedingly powerful army. That happened.
Yes.
This war proves it.
Yes.
The whole world is now talking about Israel, not in the way of like Israel and our little nuisance and there's a problem. No, it's now like, oh my goodness, wow. And and Israel's economy is going through the roof after all this because the nations want their technology.
Right.
So that prophecy is happened. Is incredible. The other part is this is all about the temple. Status quo. World War I, right? The Ottoman Turks had to be taken out, right? So the Ottoman Turks are taking out World War I, but then England, out of fear, white paper, whole thing happens all with the Muslim nations. Renege on their deal with Israel. 20 years later, World War II, London's being bombed after they make that choice. What was it all about? Bringing Israel back. Because when there was a rock in a hard place, the Lord moves it.
Yes.
Well, there's a rock in a hard place right there. It's on the Temple Mount.
Yes.
And that's where this is all, for the Board of Peace and all of that stuff has to happen. This has to happen first. And that's where it's going. Those are the things to watch. So remember, there is no temple right now, but that's what's coming. That's where this is all going towards.
That's right.
Kyle, I was just wondering, what do you think is the significance of this happening on Purim?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely fascinating to see it play out. And even I know we saw it the other day where they came together and the IRGC, but the Muslim clerics, they were going to elect a new leader and they were casting the lot. I saw a bunch of Jewish rabbis actually saying this. They said, what a day to come together and cast the lot for a new leader. And the IDF hit that assembly. How many were actually there, we don't know, but the Lord took them out. So this whole story, and obviously Khomeini, but in his name is Haman, which is really interesting from the standpoint.
It is?
It is, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And in all of that, how the Lord is obviously playing that story out again, and we know who the Lord will deliver, but I was talking about it the other night to the church here, and the whole thing of how it says the Jews arose and they avenged themselves of 75,000 of their enemies. Now, some aren't going to like me right now, but it says men, women, and children. And how they went to war, and the Lord was backing them up and dealing with their adversaries. And I think this is so important for us. I know Purim, obviously, looking at that, all the overlapping themes are absolutely amazing. But to make sure our hearts are in the right place, that we see God is the one who is doing all of this. As he avenged Israel all the way back then of their adversaries, he is doing it now. And one of the things that's always kind of near and dear to my heart is the whole thing of how when the Lord comes in his glory, and obviously as his day gets closer and closer, if we read all the prophecies, actually specifically the book of Zechariah, but all throughout, there is always one name that is used when he is about to be revealed in that way, and it is Yahweh Zabayot. And it is the Lord of armies. And that is really, in our modern translations, it's translated Lord of hosts. But in that, the New American Standard actually updated it. A great job. They translate it Lord of armies. And this is that whole story of Purim and every one of God's festivals. What do we see? They're actually celebrating a great deliverance. It is always about the nations coming against them to wipe them out. And even the fall festivals, which have their future fulfillment, they are about the coming armies of the Antichrist and how the Lord will deliver them. And on the day of judgment, he will judge the nations, but it will be the day of atonement for the nation of Israel. And they will enter into God tabernacling with men. And I'll just read one quick little psalm here because this was on my heart the other day. Psalm 59, just the beginning of it. It says, deliver me from my enemies, O my God. Set me securely on high, away from those who rise up against me. Deliver me from those who do iniquity and save me from men of bloodshed. For behold, they have set an ambush for my life. Fierce men launch an attack against me. Not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Lord, for no guilt of mine. They run and set themselves against me. Arouse yourself to help me and see. You, Lord God of armies, the God of Israel, awake to punish the nations. Do not be gracious to any of those who are treacherously in iniquity, Selah. And I think that is really what we're seeing. And that's something to me that as these wars get closer and closer, this is God speaking, of course, to Israel. And they are crying out, Lord of armies, Yahweh Zabayot, come and save us, deliver us. And this is how they will come into that relationship, obviously, of welcoming the Lord. But then also, this is a witness to the nations. And that's what Purim was about. It was a witness to Haman, the Agagite, going way far back, and how the Lord remembered his promise to wipe out Amalek and deal with the sin that they committed against Israel, but then be that witness, obviously, to all the enemies of the Jews who were in Persia at that time. And so we are seeing that now, that God is saying that same thing to the nations. Who are you going to side with? Are you going to side against me? Are you going to side with Baal? Ultimately, are you going to side with Satan? Are you going to side with Allah, whatever you want to say? Or are you going to side with Yahweh? Are you going to side with Yeshua? And are you going to support the Jewish people? If you have not subscribed, we encourage you, please subscribe to the channel, whatever format you're watching on. If you do not know, we are on Spotify, we are on Amazon Music, we are on YouTube Music, and then we are also just on YouTube and also Apple Podcast. Anybody who has an Apple phone, if you just go into the podcast on your Apple phone, type in the Bible Prophecy Guys, you can subscribe to this podcast, and you will get updates from your phone whenever a new one comes out. And we look forward to being with you all next time. God bless. Next time.
The second monumental shift that's taking place is this whole anti-Israel attitude that we see growing. It's anti-Semitism to the max. It's hatred for Jews.